shoot, I said that you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash making a portrait. Gun kick back, now grannies from porches. David on the sea, you know that it's scorching. What's the man with king? No response to the saying, advance to the line, advance to the payment. You front the game and shoot, I said that you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Said what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And on this incredible Tuesday, yes, it's Tuesday. This week is moving fast and I hope you're catching up. I got a chance to watch Adrian Broner and I saw him getting in the cold tub. The man looks focused. The man looks like he's a man on a mission. He's trying not to be the butt of the joke. He needed some capital to get himself to where he needed to be. And I got to give a shout out to Dean the Great. Dean the Great looked over at his idol and said, how can I help my idol? And I'm going to tell you, the strategic plan is incredible. That's what you need more of. You need more of friends reaching back to help. If you're not surrounding yourself by people that are willing and hopefully happy for you to do better, then change your circle. I want to give a shout out to my man, Lieutenant Hawk, for being first. New York, you know what it is. It's a glizzy on the corner. That's not my gig. I give a shout out to Lamont Davis, New Soul number 9, Manny GL, and Night Cold Natal. I want to say what's going on, man. I appreciate each and every last one of you. And let me tell you something. We got a topic to talk about today because I see these people out here tripping, man. They're tripping. Listen, I'm the only one that can tell you that every last one of those generals got their back broke by the king. Pause. Every one of those PlayStation so-called generals that were running out here in these streets met the boot. Because constantly they look for the demise of Xbox. And what I've seen with a lot of Xbox content creators is they play nice. Oh, we play nice. No, I want the death of those dudes. You wish death upon me, I want the death upon you. You want Xbox gone, I want PlayStation gone. I want them gone in a way that you won't believe. I want them gone so bad that I want you to remember them like a distant memory, like a fart in the wind. Smell that? It's PlayStation. It's out of here. I want them to be an afterthought, an open book of memories, of remember back then. That, those conversations that you have with your friend, remember back then. That's what I want them to be. Now, there are some hurdles because they have converted a lot of sheeple. But with the constant rakes that they're stepping on, Xbox Frontline News is here to tell you hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know what it is. I'm going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. Now, with all these individuals right now rallying behind no PlayStation 6, what is this about? I see people putting it in their thumbnails in the title now. What is this about? Are they actually converting over to the conversation of the real? I thought I was delusional. I thought that can never happen. Are they seeing the pathway in which the conversation turns my way? Now, I had a guy come on yesterday and he said, what did he say? He said it in a way that he said the title was clickbait. I talk about everything that's in the title, always. Always. Everything that's in the description, always. So I guess he was upset that Project Helix could possibly have a physical drive. And I think a lot of times comprehension is the key. So I would like for you, a lot of you young guys, to stay in school. Because he was mad that I was talking about comic books. Sir, madam, he, them, they, whatever you identify as and whatever your pronouns are. Or maybe you don't use that stuff and maybe you just, whatever. Maybe you exist. What I'm going to say is Xbox Frontline News is my channel that I talk about the news. And I pull up articles sourcing those topics. And then us as a community expound on that with me as the talking voice. And then people chime in from the crowd. And we have a discussion based upon like minds. Now, the biggest thing is we don't know exactly what is going to be when it comes to Project Helix. But knowing that that is the next generation console to come out of the gate, we realize that our Xbox has a huge opportunity in front of them by allowing that machine to have some form of physical medium. And they can do it very slick like Nintendo cards. Just have a licensee thing attached to a physical device. And that way you supersede the conversation of purely digital. And single-handedly, you revitalize your fan base. Understanding the opportunity that's placed in front of them, we had that conversation based upon that because I am an Xbox lover. I love the platform. I love the community. I love everything about Xbox. I love Game Pass. I love everything about it. I love the fact that I'm able to use my reward points to get a game that is more sought after. I saw one guy trying to shame us, talking about y'all are the reason why Xbox is going down. None of us work for Xbox. None of us are in management positions. If that was the case, then probably that would be true. But what we are consumers that are utilizing the platform in the manner in which it's afforded for us. Please don't be upset that PlayStation doesn't afford you the same opportunities. Because Xbox actually cares about the consumer. So if we can use our time, which is more valuable than any currency on this planet, to get us the most coveted game this generation, why not share that on? We're utilizing our brains, the ingenuity of the platform, and the pure customer service provided to us by Xbox. So again, don't hate the player, baby. Hate the game. I'm just saying. We're playing it how they told us to. Our time is our currency. Remember? Daily active players. We matter more than you guys. Now, until Game Pass changes, until all of that stuff switches, we will continue to rock out and get as much points as possible and get as much free stuff. And if any of you guys got a chance to play any of those wonderful games that you saw that I was playing on Twitter, that I posted as my 8 games of the month so far, like after I finish this, I'm going to go get on Game Pass and go play some Fortnite because I get the free $1,000 V-Bucks to buy stuff with. Because on the Xbox platform, if you play Fortnite, you are king. I'm realizing going forward, the console warriors is different. Blessings. Thank you.
At Mnoon FRC donated $5 through Super Chat. We got that Halo campaign evolved video. Check it out. Brain Jared didn't wear a PS5 shirt this time. Hashtag no PS6 hashtag Xbox charity to PlayStation.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't wear the shirt or whatever, I didn't get a chance to see that video. I'm playing some NDA games right now, wink, wink. But the fact that he didn't wear the PlayStation logo shirt because it was in bad taste, regardless to what, the fact of the matter is this: the game is coming out on PlayStation. Something that I emphatically wish was never happening. So, oh, let's go, Bobby Jennings. Get that headbanger music on while I'm rocking the Try to Play the Game Pass shirt that's in stores right now. Headbanger sets the mood right all night. That's the way we do on Xbox. That's the way we do on Xbox. When that Gears hits, don't be mad at us. Go buy a Series S. It's the cheapest way to enter this generation and get all the wonderful games that you want. Oh, I love it, man. I swear to God, I love that beat. I love the beats that I pick out for each and everything that we do here. But let me talk about some stuff right now because, you know, I want to talk about E-Day. I want to talk about E-Day because I think E-Day is going to do more than what people think it's going to do, man. Now, I know Gears Reloaded didn't do much, and Project Latitude was just piss poor. With only 20% of the games that went over yielding any results, with 80% failure rate, well then, that was not a good idea. And Asha Sharma, the Empress, long may she reign, thinks the same thing. Now, we're at a point right now where they're making petitions. You know, PlayStation dudes got a new petition every week. One petition is for E-Day. The next petition is for fiscal. The next petition is for to go against Sony themselves, to sue them. There's so many different petitions that PlayStation guys got, yanking themselves in so many different directions. We don't know what they're doing this week. Well, they should be petitioning PlayStation to make some games. And they do have Wolverine showing up, and I want to know what that game actually turns out to be, because I'm going to have it if you see the Marvel stuff in the background. And they got Marvel token fighters. Ah, man, I can't wait for that. But I know that's going to be excluding a couple of countries. Well, 100 and some odd countries. Missing out on a large fan base. Yikes, that sucks. But what people fail to realize is that Xbox has a partner. And our partner is Steam. You see, recently a survey came out and it documented that Steam doubles the PlayStation fan base with 200 million users, active users on Steam that actually buy games. You see, if it wasn't for Steam, Helldivers would have dived straight to hell. You got to realize that the PC platform, utilized properly, can be an incredible ally. Utilized poorly, like PlayStation did, well, it yields no significant impact. But Xbox seems to work well with Steam. And a lot of people think that Xbox, when they said E-Day was exclusive, that it meant it wasn't going to PC. The level of ignorance displayed by individuals thinking that this was some type of win for them and a possible peek through the window of Gears making it onto the PlayStation platform. Oh, desperation seems to have set in on the blue team. It seems that they're at the grasping at straws point, the point in which there's no return. I've seen people that I haven't seen in a long time think they had a gotcha tweet based off of NVIDIA. Now, this is brought to you by Pure Xbox and my man Craig Reed, the most technically ambitious Gears to date. Xbox partners with NVIDIA on Gears E-Day, and this promises to be the coalition's first-class PC experience. So if we're going to take this picture, we're going to look here. We're going to see a laptop, a mock-up of a laptop with E-Day on it, looking very, very nice. For the past few weeks, we've been prepping myself for October's E-Day plugging away at lots of Gears of War 5 multiplayer, and specifically appreciating just how good it still all looks on the Series X. A lot of change since Coalition's 2019 entry received its current gen enhancements, but perhaps one of the biggest shifts has been how Xbox continued to build out the proper PC gaming infrastructure. Now, if any of you got a chance to play Hivebusters, which I highly recommend you go out and do and try that out, Hivebusters was a dope DLC. I think that's the way that you're supposed to do DLCs. I wish they did more. Today, eager fans like myself, was treated to a brand new little trailer accompanied by a post on Xbox Wired, packed with all sorts of fancy details and technical doodads, explaining how good Gears of War E-Day is going to look on PC. Now, this is my first time seeing this. I want to check this out with you guys.
Rated M for mature.
Ooh. GeForce on. Let me do full screen. Oh, sorry. Let me take it back some. Let me take it back for you.
This isn't enough.
Looks great. Now, hold on one second. Was that at maximum resolution? Let me check the resolution here. That was at 1080p. Oh, man. Let's get that back. Let's run that back. That wasn't at 1080p. That was at 1080p, guys. Let's run that back. Let's do that again. Sorry. Let's do that how we were going to see it. Let's do that. Let's see what the PlayStation guys aren't going to get.
Rated M for mature.
Woo! Okay.
This isn't enough.
Oh, man. Ray tracing. DLSS 4.5. All right. Bang through. Pause. Oh. Woo! Yeah, baby. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm just saying, man, it's just stuff like this that I happen to like. I mean, maybe these dudes don't like it. Maybe these dudes ain't about it, but I'm about it all day, every day. Now, I'm sitting here and trying to pretend though I'm an all-knowing egghead when it comes to the specifics here, rather than a facilitator for those of you out there who will now, no doubt, find what I'm about to share scantling to read. Gears of War E-Day is built to deliver a cinematic, visceral, and technical ambitious return to the original franchise. Mike Pretzel, rendering lead at Coalition, built a DirectX 12. Built on DirectX. Well, they did have a new stack that came out for the DirectX 12, so I wonder if they're building on a new stack. We're focused on delivering a great experience across the console and PC. Partnering with NVIDIA gives us the opportunity to further enhance the world for PC players and performance and responsiveness and visual fidelity for the PC players expect. Now, I know a lot of you guys saying, well, if they're using AMD and AMD is their partners, especially going forward with Project Helix, why are they talking about NVIDIA? NVIDIA is the market leader when it comes to PC. Majority of the people have NVIDIA GPUs. So what they're doing is catering to the fan base, partnering with the largest dominating factor. So it certainly sounds like E-Day's PC version is generally a priority rather than a simple another way to play alongside your console. You'll hope so if you're considering the features of the Xbox handheld tag on this store. And we're going to talk about the tag of the handheld because Xbox in the handheld space makes the most sense. Now, we know PlayStation is going to be making a handheld, and we understand that later on, they're going to have opportunities to go head to head at some time because PlayStation is trying to get into the handheld space while Xbox has already occupied it. Let's get it. Let's go.
At Afropublic donated £2 through Super Chat. You see, even DF think hashtag not.s6.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, you're starting to see people co-opt my mission. It's the problem with people co-opting hashtag no PlayStation 6 and they don't think that there's going to be a PlayStation 6. I want y'all all to remember the moment that I said it, people thought I was a lunatic. And I just really want y'all to stay focused. Gears of War E-Day is optimized for both performance and fidelity across a wide range of hardware. In addition to supporting cutting-edge rendering features from NVIDIA, E-Day will also support AMD, FSR, Unreal Engine, TSR, Intel XESS, and Advanced Shaded Delivery, ASD, on compatible hardware. E-Day is being built to deliver a cinematic visceral. We went all over that. This is a tech demo. How long is this tech demo?
Everyone, I'm
okay, we saw that already. That's that 7-minute thing that's from there. But delivering on the handheld experience, I wanted to talk about the handheld experience when it came to the Xbox ROG Ally X. The next one is called the X2O. The OLED Xbox Ally X2O is so good, Asus will sell it solo. You won't need to buy the AR glasses to get the OLED Ally. Here's their preview. And this is brought to you by The Verge. And who's doing this? Sean Hollister. Now, when I saw the package for the handheld, and I was looking at the AR glasses and all the stuff that it was offering, I have the Xbox ROG Ally X, and I wanted to know what is the true difference between the two. So let's go down here, because listen, these consoles, these handhelds that are consoles, because you could plug and play them into the television, they're costing a large amount of money. Let's get it. I appreciate you, George Parcells. Thank you.
At George Purcell 5,331 donated £1.99 through Super Chat. Hashtag no PS6 is happening. You called it king. Hashtag Kong dies.
Facts. Like, when I told people before to hold the line, and I was talking to content creators about the ABK deal going through, and stop pushing all this stuff onto your fan base or your listeners or your watchers or whatever, because I couldn't personally stand it. It was somebody that made me say that, because they just sickened me to my stomach, because they was just saying such the wrong stuff, and they didn't know that there was an opportunity for that deal to go through. And it's just, I don't live in that vibration. I don't live in a negative land. So the fact that they were living in that negative space and trying to push that negative space onto you guys kind of really pissed me off. So when I said hold the line and that, ABK deal is going to go through, and it did go through, then I just started seeing so many more people co-opt that whole, yeah, I knew it was going to happen type of thing. I just want y'all to know that not one person said there won't be a PlayStation 6. Not one. And when I challenge anybody to have that conversation, when I challenge any of them face to face, you see when people come on Iron Lords podcast and I say it, in their heart, it makes them cringe, because they don't want receipts tied to that moment in which somebody can pull up those receipts, because they're so afraid of shame. How can somebody shame you for your opinion? If you're wrong, you're wrong. And you got to be willing to fail in this life. If you don't fail in this life, then you're doing it wrong. You're going to fail more than you're going to win. And you got to have that willingness to continue to go anyway. You got to have that willingness to be daring, that willingness to be bold, that willingness to be an individual, that willingness to stand out in the crowd. Don't go along to get along. Don't go along just because they say something, and if you don't agree with it, then speak your piece. I don't agree with half these dudes, and half these dudes are phony, because when you get a chance to meet them face to face, they aren't who they present themselves as. And that's the disheartening part. But all right, so the OLED Ally is the company for it. Or he said he got a chance to see it, and he might even give the new MSI Claw EXAI Plus a run for his money. Now, let me tell you something. The Asus Xbox ROG Ally X, the one that I have now, is like $1,000. That's a very pricey device. But then when you look at it, the Steam Deck, I think, is like $900. And that's the original Steam Deck, right? No, that's the Steam Deck OLED, right? And I think the regular one is pushing somewhere like $7, which is insane. And then you have the MSI Claw 8 EXAI, which is $1,800. So when I tell you that the Project Helix is going to be $1,499, and people tell me, "Oh, that's impossible, King," you got the MSI Claw running around here at $1,800. You have an underpowered Steam machine at $1,448. Let's start using common sense here. Let's stop acting like this is 86 and Xbox is going to subsidize a great deal of that console to the extent that it's going to be a deficit in their bottom line. They're trying to climb out of the deficit. You want to put them right back in just to sell a couple of million, when the real platform is the series platform. Y'all don't really understand. This generation has been stagnated. The next generation is going to be overpriced, right? So those consoles is going to sell at a trickle, while this generation is still going to be selling. So you got to understand that this generation is going to get the bulk of the games, kind of like the previous generation still got the bulk of the games based upon the install base. They're not going to walk away from this install base of these individuals, especially in these economic times. Those people that are able to provide the funds to get the next generation hardware, or the ones that have the credit enough to be on that credit plan in which they can defer payments with whatever they're going to do to get the next console, God bless. But understanding price point makes a huge difference. And that's the reason why I honestly believe that the PlayStation handheld is going to come out. It's going to sell for like $700 or $800, and it's going to be a success, and it's going to kill off the PlayStation 6, because they're not in the business of selling your $1,200 machine, which will cost-wise be what that machine would be. Now, I didn't think they was in the business of selling a $900 machine, but I really am curious to find out how much of the PlayStation 5 Pros have sold. I don't think they've sold to an extent that is pleasing to Sony, i.e. why Hiroki Chitoki and a couple of high-level CEOs have sold, or management has sold, a lot of their shares to the tune of $10 million. All right, so what you're going to get is you're going to get a clearer screen, right? So they say he prefers the Asus 7.4 OLED screen over the 8.8-inch one of the Lenovo. And this is this right here. We can see that right now. And this looks clearer. It looks sharper. This is a huge screen right here. That's the Lenovo. But it looks sharper. He said he brought along the Lenovo Go 2 and the Claw 8 EX to compare directly to the Xbox OLED Ally 2 X20. He said, harsh overhead indoor lighting. I had to look through a reflection of my own face in the rival's glassy screen. The OLED Ally screen was crystal clear. While it's only a little bit brighter than a Legion Go 2 with 14,000 nit peaks instead of 1,000 nit peaks, it's a much brighter than the Claw EX 500 nit. Okay. So he said even comfier controls. The controls is even comfier. I got to check my controls upstairs. And he's comparing that to the MSI Claw. And then he's down here about the buttons. He said the face button, the most satisfying ones how you felt on the handheld yet. Quieter, more flush with the handheld shell. While you press down, the bumpers feel slightly better and the screen does get quite hot in use due to the rework fans and the airflow. Yeah, that I am not going to lie. that Xbox ROG Ally X does pack some heat. You know, I don't play with it on my lap. The D-pad is really cool. So this is the previous D-pad, I guess, versus the normal D-pad. I don't know. What did it do? You transform it by pulling up on the D-pad's horizontal edge with your fingernails, rotating it a quarter turn. Hopefully it does come to a point. Oh, all right. So you can close that off, or you can make the D-pad raised. You see that right there? How it goes into a whole concave, like I did here. So if you see this controller right here, you see that right here, and this is the HyperX Talon, right? So I'm able to take this piece off, right? Let me get to full screen real quick so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so I get to take this D-pad off, right? So I take the D-pad off, right? And you see that there, right? So, and it has the other piece that I'm able to use. I'm able to put this in here. You see how you're just able to just plop that in there with no problem. And then you put the cover back on. Boom, cover snaps right back on, right? So you see that? So when I do fighting games, I tend to like my fighting games with the full surface D-pad instead of the Nintendo D-pad. I call that the Nintendo D-pad. So I like to use it at the full surface D-pad. Put it right here. That's the full surface D-pad. So what he's explaining right now is that the Xbox ROG Ally X20, you're able to lift up and surface it and twist it to make it pop out or make it go to the Nintendo style D-pad, which is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool feature. But what happens after a period of time? Does it go into failure? Stuff like that. So they said, how about the performance? Asus wasn't ready to let me run true benchmarks, but I did fire up 2 games on Xbox Ally X20 and the MSI Claw 8EX for direct comparison. Both processors running at 25 watts, loading the same exact save. Cyberpunk 2077, the Claw EX offered 61 frames per second in the same location, and the Xbox Ally offered 44. That's not good. Returnal, the Claw gave 62, while the Ally offered 41. Both handhelds drain the battery at roughly the same rate, 36 watts, meaning that their 80 watt hour batteries should last about 2 hours on charge. So again, for $1,800, the Claw still comes out on top. Does that work in your favor? I don't know. Me personally, the Claw does look kind of crazy though, right? I mean, but look at the resolution though. Like, I don't know. You got to start asking yourself, because you see he's able to. The reflection sucks. The glare, that sucks. But then right here, oh, you know what? I'm freaking talking to you guys, and y'all not even telling me that I'm not on that screen. Jesus, crackers with cheese. Let me go back to that. Hold on, man. Y'all not even telling me that I'm doing that. Y'all are so dead wrong. All right, so here's the D-pad. All right, y'all can see it right there. You can twist it, you can turn it out, you can twist it, you can turn it out, twist it, turn it out. And coming down here, looking at this screen right here. Again, y'all are so bad, son. Y'all are so bad. Anyway, you can see right here that he has the reflection in his face, and you don't see the reflection of the glare here. I think that matters a lot with a handheld. I do have this dock that he has right here. That's kind of crazy. That dock is dope. That Asus dock is dope. And you're able to hook it up to your television, which actually does wonders. My question is, does this matter to you guys? I don't know if it matters to you guys. I don't know if it's a huge thing. To me, the glare matters a lot, right? And I do get a certain amount of glare on my regular Xbox ROG Ally X. So the OLED actually looks like it mitigates that completely. But again, it boils down to this D-pad it boils down to the performance that you get. And I'm not going to buy a claw. That I'm not paying $1,800 for no handheld. There's no way in this universe that makes any sense to me. And I cannot, in good conscience, recommend that to you guys at all. But what I can say is that I do use my Xbox ROG Ally X a lot, and I use it mainly for my reward points, mainly for when I go on the go. Make sure my batteries is charged when I'm at the airport. Make sure I take my plug, because there's a special plug that it uses, and I even take my dock for when I get to the hotel. I'm docking at the television, and this year I'm going to take my HyperX controller, the Talon. I'm going to take that with me because it's Bluetooth, and I'm able to just sit there. Now, they did send me the new headsets. I'm going to debut those headsets and talk about those headsets tomorrow because they got here today. I didn't get a chance to run them through their paces. But I usually go with my HyperX setup. I usually go with my HyperX laptop, Omen laptop, my Max 8, I'm at Max 16, and I pod from there. I game from there. I link my controllers up and stuff like that from there. So it gives me a versatility in how I play. And I believe that PC is Xbox's default, how can I say it, partner, right? And in knowing that that's their default partner, E-Day was always going to launch on PC. When individuals thought they had like this gotcha moment that, oh, it's not going to be Xbox console exclusive. Now, when they're saying console exclusive, they mean that it's not going on Nintendo and it's not going on PlayStation, but definitely not PlayStation. And that's what a flex is. The flex lies in the fact that the PlayStation individuals do not get a chance to touch that game at all. The fact that PlayStation has to deal with wanting E-Day, well, a lot of you guys are going to have to figure out how you're going to play it, because you do have high-powered PCs from what I heard. So I guess you're going to have to play it on PC. You see, the PC market is double the PlayStation market. It makes no sense to go to playing, like putting your games on the PlayStation, because you're not going to get the same return off investment. But ABK games are different, right? I'm not telling them to take away Doom from you guys or anything like that. I do want them to take Elder Scrolls away from the PlayStation fan base. I do want them to take away Fable. I do want them to take away Forza. I do want them to take away everything that they can possibly take away. But there's some titles that let them have it. Like, I would want Doom only to be on Xbox and on PC. The PlayStation ecosystem, we should just let it die out. We should just let them have their exclusives, what they're going to do, and let them transition over to PC. Because a lot of you guys don't think that the PlayStation is transitioning to PC. And I beg to differ. I beg to differ. And I'm going to show you 3 items that signifies their shift and focus to the PC market. And I know you're going to say, well, King, you're grasping. You're grasping. Am I really, though? This is brought to you by the PlayStation blog and Isabel Tominettis. Now, this is the strike, the update for the Flex Strike wireless fight stick, the 27-inch gaming monitor, and the Pulse Elite wireless speakers. The new PlayStation hardware details. Now, these details mean a lot, because this Flex Strike stick, well, now this thing here is something that I like. I like this thing. I like that it comes with its travel case, that you can put it like a little book bag, and you could just like screw out the stick part right here and place it inside, so it just, bulking up against the box. This stuff really looks nice. It's a really well-made controller. Now, Marvel Token Fighting Souls is launching day and date on PC and PlayStation. That is a fighting game that is launching day and date on the PC. Now, this controller, which I'm going to show,
The Flex Strike wireless fight
It's
stick
awesome.
is PlayStation's fresh new take on the classic arcade controller.
It's really tailored to the fight game dynamics.
It's adopting that mentality of having a classic control scheme, but for a new age.
the PC.
From the very beginning, the Flex Strike was conceived to be an accessible, high-performance option for fighting game players who want to try something other than a DualSense.
Edwin
For
and
the
his team
PC.
were out at EVO Japan, and I started talking to them about what the community uses in terms of arcade sticks. And that conversation really spun into what would happen if PlayStation were to make and design their own fight stick.
For the PC.
普通のコントローラーというよりももうちょっと攻めていろんなエルゴノミクスとか大きさとか小ささとかそういうとこまで攻め込んでいろいろ検討し
We
た
ain't
い
gonna do 5 minutes of this, but this thing comes out for the PC. Now, you're supposed to be able to start picking it up August 6th, but they pushed the date back. You was able to pre-order it June 12th, and I think it comes out August 6th because they got this crossed out. But it's built for the PlayStation 5 and the PC. Now, this controller is definitely dope. I think you could start getting it. I don't know. I mean, it says, pre-order. I want to pick one up. But one thing that I realize that will signify that the PlayStation store, the PlayStation fan base should know is that they didn't make this for nothing. I find it beautiful. I don't know about you. Look at that. Oh, look at the PlayStation logo. Sony. Oh, it tilts and it rocks, baby. 27-inch screen. 60 hertz, 120 hertz, 240 hertz. VRR support. Woo! 1440p resolution. High dynamic range. Oh, those the Yode. You see that? Plug in everything. What? Ghost of Yode? You can hang your DualSense there to charge? Oh, look at the PC. I wonder if that's telling us that Ghost of Yode is coming to PC. I wonder if it's coming to PC. But now that we've seen that, that's beautiful. But the question is, why would they make these speakers? How come they're not showing these speakers? I gotta view the down. I gotta download the image. It's not letting me. Oh, hold on. Let me see something. Let me download this image. It's not letting me. Well, these are the PlayStation speakers. We're excited to be about the Flex Strike wireless controller, the gaming experience, the Pulse Elevate wireless speakers to players, and to continue providing more choices in how they can play. Now, why would they have these speakers if it's not for the PC player? Because PlayStation understands the same thing that Xbox does. PC lives matter. And the fact that PC lives matter, PC buyers buy games. And at the end of the day, they're going to have an app and they're going to be going after the PC dollar. While Xbox partners with Steam, knowing that Steam is 2 times more the user base than PlayStation, well, then Xbox understands where they need to focus their attention. And it's not on the PlayStation fan base. So when E-Day shows up, and it shows up for Steam, and it shows up for Xbox, and we understand what matters most, I want you guys to remember one thing. This is the first and last time you guys get a chance to do this. This is brought to you by Pure Xbox and Craig Reed. The next Halo game has officially gone gold. All systems gold for July 23rd to the 28th. Now, if you get the pre-package, the big edition, whatever, the legendary edition, whatever that's called, you get a chance to play that on the 23rd. The game actually comes out on the 28th of July. I have not even mixed feelings about this game. I have one emotion about this game, and it's actual vitriol. Now, I will be talking about some NDA stuff that I got going on with some games that's in the works and stuff like that. But at the moment, me talking about this Halo game and it's going to the PlayStation fan base, it's going to their platform, we need to take a moment to understand exactly what Master Chief has meant to the platform. It gave it an identity. Now, that identity is being passed along to the PlayStation fan base. I don't agree with that identity. I don't agree with that language. I don't agree with that decision. I think that decision is a dumb decision, actually, to break it down to you. But at the end of the day, I don't run a company, and I told you if I did, they will get nothing but Popeye's biscuits. Now, with that being said, that this game is coming out, I want this game to be the best Halo game that they could possibly make. I want them to make sure that this game doesn't hit any snags. I want this game to be creme de la creme. I want it to have all the bells and whistles that it can possibly have on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I want this game to maximize whatever PC levels that is going to maximize, because it's going to maximize the PC to a greater extent than whatever the PlayStation 5 Pro is. And I know you're saying, King, why are you wishing this? Because to the best of my knowledge, this is the absolute last time that Master Chief would grace a PlayStation console. I don't know who is in charge, and I don't care any longer, because the odds is those people that were in charge with making that decision are no longer there. And I want you to know that anytime that you PlayStation dudes fire up Halo Master Chief Collection, every time you shoot a grunt, or you fight a brute, or you run from the flood, every time, I'm wishing your controller pop open. I'm wishing that the liquid metal ooze out of your PlayStation. I'm wishing that the game is too much that your console actually deep fries itself. Yeah, that part. Is it something I ever want to see? Absolutely not. But again, if you thought that these people listen to us, content creators, you're out of your mind, because if they were listening to us, they would have known that this was a no-go, right? But some people say, what harm does it do playing an old game? It does a lot of harm. And let me explain why it does a lot of harm. It does a lot of harm to the fan base that feels that this is mine, right? It does a lot of harm to those guys. It does a lot of harm to individuals that identify Master Chief with the Xbox console. Because now, when you look at it, don't tell me that you're shifting what the Xbox brand means to Gears. Because Gears made its way over to PlayStation as well in a case of Reloaded. Now you're trying to figure out what Xbox means. What's its identity? And in scrambling, trying to figure that out, previous people made mistakes in losing who they were. Now you have a CEO that has to establish a baseline, and there were decisions made before she even was allowed to step a foot in her new office. I don't attribute this debacle to Asha, but I do believe that this is an albatross around her neck that she will wear based upon people's decisions in haste and not reading the room and not understanding that making this title, even if it's an old title based upon an old story that was told over 25 years ago, still doesn't change the fact that it should not happen. And what got you to this place in which it's happening? That's the bigger problem. So the fact that it went gold and the fact that a lot of content creators probably got review copies and they're going to play the game and they're going to talk about the game and the game is going to come out and people are going to enjoy the game. I want it to be your best foot forward, because with the news that I'm hearing from Halo Studios, with Pierre Heinz and the mismanagement going on over there, and I'm hearing that Activision may take over the Halo franchise, I'm not going to say no to anything. I'm just looking for stability in a title that I associate with the Xbox brand. And I don't know what you do after the genie is out of the bottle. I don't know what happens then. Because now you are forced to answer a ton of questions. Because if you make a new fan base there based upon decisions that you made in desperation, now you got to deal with that. It's like cheating, right? You cheat, and let's say you go and get the person that you cheated with pregnant. Now you got a whole family that's over here, and you got to learn how to deal with that. This is what's happening here. Xbox goes over there, they cheat, they get them pregnant with their Halo Master Chief bug. Now you got to figure out, what do you do? I think poor decisions was made. And I honestly think that somebody should have been held to the carpet. Like, seriously. That's one decision that I really want to know, because, you know, when Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius, first of his name, said there's no red lines, that meant anything can go. And everything did go. If you really looked at it, you looked at Forza went, not Forza Main, because that one it did well. But Forza Horizon went. Then you got Gears Reloaded, which did abysmal. That thing did terrible. But now you got the last of the Big Mac fries and shake going over with Halo. What does that do? I hope it's the best game they could possibly make. Because if future regimes or the current regime makes the same exact mistake, well, that's the definition of insanity, because it didn't work out the first time. Only a couple of titles yielded any results. PC is your partner. Xbox is your brand. And Game Pass is the platform. You have to figure out how to grow the platform, how to preserve the brand, while appeasing your partners to help you grow. I do hope that Steam is on the new Xbox Project Helix. I do hope that they understand how valuable the PC brand is. Because if they actually really understood that there was really no money to be made on the PlayStation platform, outside of Horizon 5, None of them hit the metrics that was necessary to justify that shift, right? Outside of that outlier, they could have kept everything and been better off for it. Now we got a couple of titles that's going over. You got Fable. I'm not a fan of that. So when I'm out in Germany and I get a chance to play Fable and I get a chance to see them talk about it being on the PlayStation platform, and I get a chance to see the crowd, because this is going to be the first time I get a chance to see a PlayStation crowd in their natural habitat surrounding the PlayStation brand. When I went to Japan, I thought I would see a lot of people worrying about PlayStation. That was not true. It was, you content creators make me sick. Oh my God.
At new_soul9 donated $10 through Super Chat. At King speaking on Fable and exclusive. If Fable from Playground doesn't do numbers Asher expects, should we be prepared to see Fable put away and make Playground to be the Forza Horizon team?
Well, they already do Forza Horizon. I think Fable is going to do really well. But let's just play devil's advocate here, right? New Soul. Let's play devil's advocate. And let's say Forza Horizon 6 numbers dwarfs Fable's numbers. The studio is still a good studio, but Fable being on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, hopefully they launch them all at the same time, right? They don't stagger the launch. And hopefully Fable can reach those numbers of a Horizon, right? Because the worst thing that you can do is bring back a storied franchise and it falls flat. You want it to come back. You want it to hit around 3 to 5 million. You want it to make its return off investment. And then you want that title to be able to spawn a part 2. Right? So then you can just figure out what you're going to do with it, because you could reuse the assets. I want next generation to be the generation like the 360 and the PlayStation 3. And what I mean by this is that generation gave us the most consistent back-to-back games. I want it to be like that. I want to finish a trilogy in a generation. I don't want to get one game, one generation, then I got to get the next game, the next generation. I want the games to be easy to produce. I want the games to be thoughtful, deep, concise games. I want a renaissance of our period. This year is a great year for video games. We have a ton of Game of the Year candidates, right? But it seems like the majority of them is coming from Capcom. Like Capcom has got the secret sauce. I want excellence. And I'm trying to figure out what company outside of Capcom will step up to deliver that. If it's Xbox Studios under threat of gun, because remember, there's 1,600 more people that are going to lose their jobs. And that's based off of performance. I can guarantee you that's performance-based metrics. We looked at id Software, and they just released a DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages. And honestly, it probably underperformed. And that's where they took cuts from, because they didn't have another project going. Now we got to look at the Halo team next, with Halo launching on the 23rd to the 28th, and see those numbers and see what that means. And then if they're going to address that stuff with that studio. But then we have Playground Games with Fable. So there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air. And what about if this Call of Duty that's not inside Game Pass doesn't perform? There's a lot of questions to be had. But these are good questions because it all leads to games being produced. Now, I did want to read something because I thought that it made sense to read this, because I don't want people to think that I don't care about compulsion games. I do. This is brought to you by Pure Xbox and Craig Reed. Former Xbox dev Compulsion Games shares an open letter to studios across the industry. South of Midnight Dev is back in business. And here's the letter. With Compulsion Games returning to its roots as an independent developer, we are expanding opportunities to collaborate with studios across the games and entertainment industry. We invite partners to leverage the talent and creativity of the award-winning team behind South of Midnight, a game that was honored with the BAFTA Award, a Peabody Award, 7 Canadian Game Awards, and recognized on multiple Best Games of 2025 lists. With deep experience in creating acclaimed original IP, we bring our artistry, technical expertise, and collaborative approach to every project. We are excited to support the development of memorable experiences that engage and entertain players around the world. Yours truly, Compulsion Games. You know, this here cannot happen if Xbox closed them down. Xbox let them go free, independent, didn't take any of their IPs, even though they were rightfully Xboxes, and allowed them to live on. If y'all care for the devs, if y'all about the devs, this should mean a lot. This should mean a lot, and it does mean a lot. I'm still dealing with friends that lost their jobs due to this recent purging of talent over at Xbox. But I'm confident that the cream will always rise to the top. Pause for you weirdos. And that they will land on their feet. Compulsion Games makes good games. And I'm pretty sure that there's a publisher out there that could see South of Midnight 2 and Hazel make a return. The game is really good. It's on my list of top 2 games in the world, with The Last of Us 2 being the 1 or 1A or 1B or whatever, with South of Midnight being right there. I think it's the body of work that actually speaks to me when it comes to video games. I'm not saying that there aren't other video games that actually challenge that, but what I'm talking about is the body of work. See, when I play these games, I get every piece of like little things that you can find, little grimoires around the world, to read the story, to listen to the story, to be part of the story. I go do every little side quest, everything. So I get the full breadth of the games. Where somebody speeds run, or they tend to make a certain aspect of the game about them and not about the game itself. So there are different parts in the games in which I feel that those games stand head and shoulders above a lot of other games because they were willing to tackle a lot of conversation. But hopefully, and I believe that they will, so not hopefully, I believe Compulsion Games will find a publisher to publish whatever their next title is, and I eagerly anticipate their next title because I felt that South of Midnight, outside of the combat, was definitely a game that should have been in Game of the Year category for me. Maybe not for you, but for me. And I thought it didn't get due service based upon a lot of people that surrounded it with negative energy. But this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, The King. If you liked anything that you saw here, if you liked the show, well then please like, follow, and subscribe. I go live daily, Monday through Friday. I drop videos on the weekend. And at some point this week, I'm going to figure out when I'm going to do the whole members thing. Because I'm just going to pick 3 to 5 members and I'm going to mail y'all out some stuff. Because, again, I get a boatload of stuff and I want to share it out. I want to be able to share my fandom with you. And I want you to have something from me so you could be like, yo, King's a real one. Right? Right? I want you to spread the gospel of King. But I want you to do what I'm about to do, what I have to do. Like, I got to go play some Fortnite. Right? Because I got to get my days in. I want you to go where game is game and win is win. And I want you to try to play the Game Pass. If you see, try to play the Game Pass is in stores right now. Go do that with the same Xbox chain that I'm wearing right there. You see that? That's dope. They did a great job. I appreciate them. But I told you, I'm the unmitigated best at this. And if you got anybody better than me, then put them up.
What's a man to a king? What's it a saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game, but shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox. Spin the block, his legs live. Fast talking, no riddling. Moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash making a portrait. Gun kick back, now grannies from porches. David on the sea, you know that it's scorching. What's a man to a king? What's it a saying? Advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game, but shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time. Told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Said what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?